Hello. Hello, everybody. It's late at night, so I'm trying not to talk very loudly. Maybe I'll crank up my microphone. Hi. So technically this is actually not the third day. Earlier my internet gave out suddenly, so I had to stop playing. But I went to go have dinner, and when I came back, it was working again. And I love this game, so I'm just gonna keep playing. Um, I got my cat on my lap. I know you can't see him on the camera. There's a cat behind me freaking out though. She's adorable. Anyway, so this is technically, even though this isn't really a new day, it's day 3 of me playing Outer Worlds as Joe Biden. Uh, Essentially, what that boils down to is I'm like a pro-corporate, uh, anti-healthcare dude. All my points are in lying, persuasion, and leadership. Um, I'm not a Republican. I find Joe Biden to be too much center of left for me, and he's just not a very good presidential candidate. So I thought I'd get to know him by playing as him in the Outer Worlds, and also it's just a joke. But anyway, yeah, I hope the stream is loud enough because it's very late at night and I don't want. Well, it's not that late, but and I want to, you know, not not be too loud for my neighbors. So anyway, yeah, Outer Worlds, let's do it.
Where are we
Uh,
headed?
Hi there. Last person I was talking to was this dude.
Any luck finding one of those manuals?
I don't have any more manuals, but I do have to find them. Why is my game all messed up? One sec. Okay. Is that right? Okay, great. Oops. Ugh, everything's all messed up. Okay. Wait, did I have another quest? I forgot what I was doing. Wait, did they show up on the map? Because if so... Oh, they do. Where's the other volume? Oh, let's go get it. I love this moon guy who's like the vault boy of this game. He's so cute. And I need that suit if I'm really gonna beat Joe Biden. I need a real suit, so I'm looking for that suit. Did I already find this thing? Is that why it's on my map? I wonder where the third one is. What? I got a vending machine. I like that finding vending machines grant you. Oh, right. Awesome. Easy peasy. Can I steal from here? No. Whose desk is this? I'm gonna replay this game one day, not as Joe Biden and as like a super badass hacker, because I am missing a lot of this hacking stuff. Medical treatment is a privilege, not a right. Ah, very Joe Biden. My cat is asleep on my lap, but he keeps readjusting himself, and I'm a little scared he's gonna claw my downstairs, if you know what I mean. Ooh, 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. One quick second. Okay, I'm back, sorry. I apologize for that. Okay. What does this vending machine give me? Anything cool? No. Can I sell? I don't know why I keep getting so much junk. I keep finding necklaces everywhere. So do I know where the third one is? Oops. Wait, he left one at the cannery? Is that a clue? Like there's another one here? I feel like I cleared this place out pretty well though, didn't I? Oops. It's not like in here, is it? How do you get in that room? Where's the door into that room? Over there? Huh? This is some shining stuff over here. How do you get into that room? Oh, I want a Fun Times barrel. Ugh, I want to steal that Fun Times barrel. Huh, how do you get to that room? Can you help me, by the way?
Where are we headed? He's just interested in fixing stuff. He always used to follow me around, asking me to explain what I was doing. Like a puppy, kinda. He never told me a word to that effect. And since he didn't, I didn't have to say nothing about feeling different. And nothing had to get weird. If he wants to learn about engineering, we should help him get those data pads he wants. I'd like to do that for him.
Oh. The ambient sounds in this game are so good. Is there a data pad in here? Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Oh shoot, sorry. Oh, didn't mean to do that. My bad, sorry. I'm 100% for the company. shoot. How do you get into this room? Where's that door?
What's on your mind? Foreman Granger, mind those words
Didn't I
don't
already
come out
talk
of
to
your
her?
mouth unless preceded by yes or right away or thank you.
Oh.
I paid his burial fees, didn't I? Let the dead sleep. Didn't anyone ever tell you not to go rifling through other people's correspondence? Excuse you. Eugene's body and all rare earth minerals contained therein already belong to Spacer's Choice. And we're all part of the Spacer's Choice family here. Never mind. I don't have to explain myself to you.
Does she...
What's on your mind?
Oh no, she doesn't give a crap. Oh, jeez. You know, like Joe Biden. Doing crazy acrobatics. Alright, let's blow this joint. Wait, it's in her house.
This is where the magic happens. Well, where are we headed? Hey, that's... I mean, if you need it. Okay. Yeah, huh?
Change the damage to shock damage. Is there anything I want shock damage on? It's fine. Let's make it a shock assault rifle. Okay. I love that you just increase the damage on guns and it doesn't even matter. Does this lower, like, repair or anything? Doesn't seem to do anything.
If you're hungry, I could open up a can of something.
I pretty much already ransacked your apartment earlier, so...
My dad's... It's an office. Something you need?
I was hoping you would talk to me.
Oh, you like flowers? I can't find many kinds around here.
No. You're a cutie.
If you need to go, I'll wait outside.
Cute.
I don't like coming out here. People on the street stare.
Why? What did you do? What? Oh. Ouch. Okay, it's clean. Let's fast travel.
Any luck finding one of those manuals?
I did, Thomas.
No kidding. Really? Well, which one? Ain't that just ironical? If I'd worked a little longer back at the cannery, I might have found this myself. 2 whole data pads? Be still my beating heart. Oh, almost forgot your payment. Sure, I'd be glad to take them off your hands. What's on your mind?
Should I go? Oops. Should I go, to the... Should I go do this first? Or I should talk to her first.
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down and I'll fetch you a poultice. Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates and be welcomed here. Any questions, dear? I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine.
Strange old lady that keeps...
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just... You got such pretty trees in here.
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? I remember when you were but a sprout. Thomas speaks of you often. Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon, but it's
Gross.
been cleaned.
Gross.
No, dear. The garden belongs to us all. Life is the gift of the universe, and the universe yields its bounty equally, absent of prejudice. The soil around the Vale went sour years ago, but I found a way to sweeten it back up. The secret recipe is a little bit of elbow grease, a dash of love, and a heaping pile of special fertilizer. A home for anyone who's ever turned their backs on Edgewater. A home for those of us with nowhere left to go and nothing to lose. So, like the spores of the puffball, cast on the wind and alighting on fresh soil, we put down new roots. It is an unpleasant story, dear. But the short of it is that sometimes one wakes up and realizes the place that was once her home for much of her life has changed. The home in which we spent our lives has left us behind, and so we must move on. And that is as much as I will say on the subject. Reed Thompson, you here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then? Make amends. Spare me. Only thing Reed knows how to make is a mess. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves. He would do such a thing. The question is, why would you agree to his plans? If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that.
Because I'm playing as
odious
Joe Biden,
cannery.
I'm going to side with the corporation.
Seems the sort
FYI.
of thing a hero would do.
Especially again as he suddenly decided to take PAC money.
You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scraps Spacer's Choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? Your father died of overwork. His heart gave out.
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends them. It's not much of a living. Every single person in that town has sold themselves to Spacer's Choice. The company owns them. Body, blood, and bones. You've been there. You've seen it. All anyone ever does is toil over a cannery. They give their lives for some heartless corporation, and then they're tossed into a Spacer's Choice brand cemetery.
Okay, I think I can fast travel over there, right? Yeah. Borstwurst. Yuck.
Where are we headed?
Oh, I cancel. There's a cat on my lap. I'm not just staring at my junk and talking to it. Although that would be fine if that's your thing. Okay, I have my shock rifle, right?
I've always wanted to poke around in here.
Well, now we're doing it.
Got it. Inside voices.
Security patrol.
We got this. That's the last of them.
Was that right? I have to do something, right? Oh, whoops. Assault rifles first. My bad. Okay. Oh, I can't take your fancy scientist studs. What is,
Here we go. Don't mess with us.
So is this all fucked up now? Did I fuck up? Can I turn this off? What is the enemy over here?
Processing.
This'll be quick. Here goes nothing. No hard feelings, okay? The control room should be ahead somewhere and a touch to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing. That's the last of them.
That's the last of them?
Don't mess with us.
Not a spaceship. What's that for, I wonder? Receptionist died. Wait, did I miss the thing? It's right there. Oh, shoot. to hack this with 45? Oh, yeah, okay.
Here we go! Wow, great work!
Oh, I see. You're probably gonna go get the. You're gonna go get the security guard's key or whatever. I bet. Mr. Ouch.
Ready for this? Nice one! Everyone all right?
Cigarette lighter.
Self-diagnostics
Oh,
complete.
it's Jeremy.
Navigation systems operational. Combat systems operational. It's not the best choice. It's the spacer's choice. All systems fully operational. Return journey successfully completed.
Hey, baby
Spacer's
cat.
Choice would like to thank you for complying with your duties. Hostile actions towards Spacer's Choice mechanics are contrary to logical directive. Conclusion: all hostile automechanicals must be defective
Oh,
in
okay.
compliance with Spacer's Choice policy. All defective
Oh, is he gonna join my party? That would be
automechanicals
awesome.
must be permanently dismantled. Please allow me to assist. Affirmative. Mechanicide protocols loaded.
Mechanicide.
Awaiting confirmation.
Yeah, huh?
Hi, little cat. Ah, my cat is clawing me slightly.
Got it. Heads down.
Is Jeremy with me? Chester's passcode. do?
Get away!
Oh, hi, Jeremy.
Away, Phantom!
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded. We're pretty good at this.
Not an engineer, though. Oh, but she is an engineer, so it counts.
Damage sustained.
That's the last of them.
Yikes. Where am I going now? Oh. Ouch.
Ah! Go away, Phantom! Get away! Go away, Phantom! You're not real! You're not real! Get away from me, Phantom! Shoot! Scram! You can talk? The Phantom's never talked before. I knew I shouldn't have eaten that sprat raw. See? See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprats before ingesting. Clearly, I mistook you for one of the phantoms of my imagination, which terrorized me on occasion. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane.
I use it as a reminder. Hard to say. By my reckoning, Higgins has been here somewhere between 2 weeks and forever. My recollection's a touch fuzzy these days. Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna critic, Aetherwave personality, chairman of the board, Galactic Defender, Sisty Pig Tycoon. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this plant. Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more unconventional means of filling my insides. Braised, boiled, charred, skewered. Sprats are good eating, friend. Chock full of
They're
brain
eating
food.
sprats at the cannery. It's not that weird.
I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries. Repaired them, maintained, upgraded. Did it all from my old workroom just over in the next section. Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will come for us. With prodding irons.
I love you, Captain.
You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic adventurer.
I like this guy.
I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead. Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of mechanical engineering. There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act, including whom they shoot at. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my
There we
passcode to
go.
access the behavior control terminal.
Hey.
Here, let me just write it down for you. Funny thing, I was working on a logic module just before the mayhem started. Security chief found me and confiscated the logic module. The tail. Definitely start with the tail. If you're feeling adventurous, the ears are a particular delicacy. Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything that moved. It was pandemonium. You mean, why did the mechanicals go on a murderous rampage? Same reason any of us do, I
This is
suppose.
a good character.
The voices told him to do it. I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. So, as usual, I missed out.
Ow. Cool. Oh, wait, was I not in this room before? Oh no, I was. Weird. Can I come in here now? There we go. Bolt or pistol?
Something you need?
Okay, let's go give everybody all their stuff and we'll come back.
Any luck finding one of those manuals? No kidding. Really? Well, which one? The geothermal plant? Now that is just incredible. You really went exploring down there? Adelaide always told us it was swarming with hostile mechanicals. That's a complete set. All 3 parts. I'm gonna be the greatest engineer Halcyon's ever seen. Aside from you, Ms. Parvati. I swear, I'll do you proud.
I'm glad we could help, Thomas.
I've been saving something for you. Just a little contraption I found. Should fit right into your outfit.
Wait, am I over encumbered? Isn't there a vending machine over here somewhere? No, I could break something down.
Zoe says she fought her way out of a marauder camp with her own bare hands. Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat.
Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute, Bears. You're hurting. Oh, I'm sorry, Pete. Look, I have a cat on my lap. He's very cute. He's the cutest cat. But you're kind of hurting me a little bit, though, because you're kind of clawing my leg a bit. But it's okay. Come on, Days. I have 2 other pistols.
Home is where the heart is. Marauders took that saying a little too literally.
Baby cat, you're like a liquid. can't find a way to put this cat where he doesn't. Cat, you're very cute. Okay. Oh. Can I put you on my neck? Is that okay? Can you live on my neck? Because that would be way easier for me. No. When he was tiny, he used to sleep on my neck. It was adorable. Yeah, I love you too, cats. I love you too. Burr, burr, burr. Yeah. You don't want me to play, you want me to pet you. I love you too, cat. I don't know where to put you. I should get one of those baby things. Can you be here? Is that okay? Do you think Joe Biden is a cat person or a dog person? I have to blow my nose 1 second. Okay. Or right, I guess. Okay, let's keep playing. What are you doing? Stop. Oh my lord. Cats.
Bring us honor, soldier.
Stop.
Bang up work, soldier. You're a credit to your uniform. Oh, that reminds me. Gotta look into getting us a uniform. So this is it then. The key to humanity's victory over the mechanical hordes. I would reward you with the gratitude of the resistance, but I'm guessing you want something tactile. So here's a couple bits for your trouble, and a little something to remember me by.
Put him on this chair right next to me and see if he's okay. He might meow at me though. It's okay. Ooh. Oh, what is that? Oh, I'll take that. Cool.
War ain't over. Not so long as a single mechanical remains unscrapped.
Did it? Did I do them all? Scoping staff. Can I turn the 1 of 14? No, why not? Wait, which fences got turned off? Okay, good.
Mechanicide protocols currently.
You know what? I'm just gonna fight him. Or maybe I have to. Let's save, just in case, because I don't want Jeremy to die. If Jeremy dies, I'm definitely reloading. Where's Jeremy?
Once we do this, there's no going back.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Well, that sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back,
Yeah,
Edgewater's
I
as good as
100% am all in on the corporate
cutting off their power
angle
might be
because I'm
the
Joe
only way.
Biden.
Sorry, I didn't mean to babble
No,
on like
you're
that.
right. I
I
agree with you.
I felt like I had to say something.
Why are you acting like I don't agree with you?
Really? I I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
Okay, great. Let me steal some stuff. Alright, just in case Jeremy's dead again.
I think you did the rightest thing you could sending the power back to Edgewater. A lot of people would have suffered otherwise. People I care for, even if they didn't care much for me.
One of us want to go see what happened?
That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, I would have seen you for the snake that you are, chopped you into pieces and roasted you on a spit. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my garden. Without refrigeration, my food will spoil, and my flock will starve. I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not see me lose my temper. Tell me, why did you do it? You want my flock wasting their lives in that cannery? Fine. Go and talk to them. Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing left to do is go back to Edgewater. This is now your responsibility. And you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather die among my flowers than live under his management. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. That's as much of the story as you need to hear. As long as Reed is still in Edgewater, I will not return. Those are my terms.
Well, sorry. Can I have this power regulator?
Everybody keeps staring at me. It's not my fault the power's dead. I've been thinking about going back. I'm not much use to anybody here. I get sick thinking about working at the cannery. I can't do that again. You know something? I think you're right. The town could use another engineer, and I'm on my way to becoming one. I could do a lot of good in Edgewater. Maybe even keep a garage of my own with a little workbench and my very own toolbox. It's just... Adelaide's never gonna forgive me. Not in 100 years. I go crawling back to my old life in Edgewater, and I'm as good as dead to her. Adelaide hates Edgewater, hates everything Edgewater stands for, hates what that town does to people, what it did to her. We're the nearest she's got to kin. We go back to Edgewater, we may as well have stuck a knife in her heart. You know where to find me.
Marauders can't see us in the dark. Wild canids, on the other hand.
The matter's been weighing on me. Zoe came back, but I couldn't keep her from slipping out in the first place.
This is so sad.
Who's to say I could keep marauders from slipping in? I don't see us lasting more than a couple of weeks out here. I'm loath to admit it. We're gonna have to make our peace with Thompson and hope he takes us back. Listen, we go back to Reed, hat in hand, begging for our old jobs back. Well, Adelaide's not gonna forgive us. She never talked to us again. Edgewater's not just a town to Adelaide. It's a symbol of everything that's wrong with this colony. A big, heartless machine of metal and gears grinding workers down to dust. We're the closest thing Adelaide's got to a family. We go back to Edgewater, she's gonna feel betrayed. Sure, suit yourself. I'll be here.
Look at that. The snake's come back.
And Snake. I'm not willing to deal with Reed. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what to do is all. I expect we got no choice. Edgewater needs us back, and loath as I am to admit it, we need Edgewater. You okay with this, Grace?
My affairs are all settled. Thanks for helping me with Zoe.
Just give us some time to gather our personals and say our goodbyes. If you run into Reed, you tell him we're coming back, yeah?
Look at that. The snake's come back. Good for them. I'm glad. Back to the old cannery with Grace and Thomas and Stefan and all the others. I expected it'd end like this. Lived out here for years all by my lonesome. Only right that I'd die the same way. I expect you've done enough for the Vale. If you don't mind leaving an old lady with her thoughts, I'd be much obliged. It is too late, and I'm tired of talking.
Where are we headed?
Can I have all your stuff? Because we're not going to need it.
How do you expect me to enjoy the adventures of the masked marketeer with no power?
Yeah, sorry, Zoe. This game would be funny if it just ended right here.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for...
Where are we headed?
This is a fine day, friend. Power flows through our town like a cool stream of water. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. So, when can I expect them back at their posts? That's good enough for me. Adelaide and I have a history. Was unlikely she'd ever come back.
baby.
But hope springs eternal. We are in your debt. I am authorizing you for a discount on all official Spacer's Choice products, courtesy of the people of Edgewater. By all means. I do. Grace Romero, wasn't it? Brusque, truculent, never seemed to care much for cannery work.
I haven't heard that word on.
Protecting a camp from marauders is no small task. I'll see to fitting her out in a guard's uniform. Thomas Kemp? I remember him. Had to write him up for daydreaming a few too many times.
He tries real hard, Mr. Thompson. This is something he wants to do. That'll make him twice as good.
You may be right. And with the town set to grow, it is time I invested in a new mechanic. This whole fiasco is not one I am keen on repeating. I was too hard on my own workers. I pushed them to their breaking point. With more hands at the cannery, I expect productivity will rise. I expect we'll grow. And I expect I can ask corporate to send us some more medicine. We'll survive, one way or another.
Cool.
Where are we headed?
Oh, I mean, I think that's the end for you, right? I'm gonna whack. I'm gonna walk back to my ship for old time's sake. Ouch.
Everyone all right?
Oh. I haven't explored this whole area yet, I don't really think, but
can handle this.
Weak.
Don't mess with us.
Who's that guy I saw originally? Can I get back there? Like up here? That was like over there. It was over there. Ah. Is that guy still here? Oh, but you can't climb back up here, huh? Can you?
Is this your ship? Oh my stars,
I
she
took
is
you
just
already.
so handsome. Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship. Working on a real
Yeah,
engine.
well, guess what? That's what we're doing.
Belonging to a proper crew. I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but every time I think of going back, I get this sinking feeling.
Oh, should I
it's
send
kind
her
of you to say
back?
that. And you're right. I wasn't happy. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But can I come with you? I could tend to your engine.
We do
I know
need
my
good
G-valves for my
people on my
catalyzers, and I can
campaign
keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too. What do you think?
I really want to leave her behind. No, Joe would take her.
Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, mister. Captain. I can call you Captain now. Ha! I got a captain. Something you need?
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Are you bugged out?
Captain, I have detected that Edgewater's power supply is now optimal. I applaud your willingness to invest your time in the local community.
No, stay.
What can I do for you, Captain?
You look like that other lady.
Do you know how to install a power regulator? Step 1. Pick up your power regulator. Step 2. Approach the terminal located in our engine room. Step 3. Insert power regulator. Step 4. Celebrate. Our engine room is located behind you. Across the cargo bay, up the ladders.
I have a cat right off the screen.
Yeah, huh?
Hey, are you bugged? What's going on with you?
What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the Unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities.
Cool. These graphics are cute.
Communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
I wonder if that's a Flash reference.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the Unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you. Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame.
Hey, how dare you
The
say
Hope has
anything
some of the
wrong about a
brightest
corporate
minds
board?
Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Culkelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay. Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her. Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Culkelly. Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precariously around the edge of oblivion together. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it a better place, and we can start by reviving the hope. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology, years ahead of its time. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters. Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another. It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last.
That of another.
Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic projection around you. Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more likely. Best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path you can't sneak past, for example. Maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to notice flaws in the hologram. A change of clothes. What is this? Some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard would be fooled by such a shabby disguise? The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice and sweetens your breath. Science, that's how. Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a
I want
lie.
wealth and power. I'm Joe
The
Biden.
board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal.
Can I talk to my crew? Can I go outside? Oh.
Yeah, so this is my hidey spot now.
Hmm.
I was looking for a place that was quiet. I figured the kitchen would be louder than the hold, so here I am. Cozy like, ain't it? Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all my life. Mr. Thompson never let me forget how funny that was. Except for my schooling years, I was always beside him. Or tied to him. He used to carry me about in a sling when I was real little. When I got older, he set me to sorting tools and parts while he worked. Later, he taught me simple fixes like busted crate latches. Not on the regular. Once in a great long while, a Saltuna boat would break down on the pad. He'd always bring me along for those. Mostly, he did the same as me. Kept Bess, the cannery, running. Turned loaders, plumbing and electricity, some plastering. I never got the hang of that. I'm not exactly a model employee. Not like you wanted. The kind that stays quiet and gets the right work done in the right order every day. It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. That decides your schooling and your career. When I tested out
Do
for
you think
maintenance,
that
everyone
botanical
figured
garden
it was on
woman would
account
join
of my
my
dad.
crew?
They were real unhappy with us. Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing such to somebody else's schedule. There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow and I've blown another deadline. Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. I didn't care much for schooling. Yep, nothing much had changed. Everything was a little grayer, a little dirtier. Dad met me at the shuttle and gave me a big ol' hug. I noticed straight away that he was moving slower and stiffer. He made a little grunt when I squeezed. No, but a whole life taking care of Edgewater by his lonesome, working with all kinds of chemicals, it wears on a body. When I left for school, everything got harder for him. I used to help him lift the heavy things, and my hands didn't shake for the fine detail work. About a year. I tried to do more of the work so he could rest. His heart gave him pains. Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of him showing it. How he'd stay up late to help with my projects or listen to my fretting. Oh gosh, look at the time. Sorry to bend your ear so long. And I got so much to do. That's in pretty good shape considering how hard Mr. Hawthorne ran it. It's a Yakita LHA 120, A2 model, I'm pretty sure. The Block 2 design scooshed in extra cargo space but didn't change the stock engines. Probably a touch underpowered, huh?
Accurate in all particulars. I conclude you are Edgewater's board-certified mechanic.
Fly-by-wire's pretty normal. Or leastways, that's what I read in the trades. I've never been on a real ship before. Hello! I am not a board-certified mechanic, but my dad was. He taught me all he knew. Do you understand?
Speech recognition is one of the many skills I have been programmed to simulate.
You're not simulating it, you're doing it! I asked a question and you answered it.
I am gratified you consider this facsimile convincing. I am at your disposal, Ms. Parvati. You will find the technical schematics in the engineer's locker, though I'm afraid Captain Hawthorne has lost the owner's manual.
I don't see any holes in the hull. I'll take a good squint at her, make sure everything's tip-top. But I think we're cooking with plasma torches. You can do that, you know. My dad taught me how to make grilled cheese sandwiches with a plasma torch.
I'm gonna get something to drink and use the restroom. I'll be right back. I realize that the game has been super low. Sorry. Oh, we have crew quarters now. Where did... I'm eating snacks. Social eating. Uh-oh. I bought wasabi peas. They're very delicious. Okay. Munching. Can I put stuff there? Sweet. Oh, I leveled up. What is that? Oops. Ugh, I always do that.
I find myself marveling at the complex simplicity of the Fibonacci spiral. I'm sure you know what that's like. Something vexing you, Captain? Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently enthusiastic disposition. That's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My passion didn't sit well with them. My parents, ironically. They internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith, a faith that brought joy to them regardless of the situation. I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a vicar, I could find it. Or at the very least, find out why I lacked it. They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue the clergy for power, prestige, but that was not me. The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained within it. Our paths have variance, but we'll end up adhering to it, whether we like it or not. Some choices make the path smoother, some rougher. You can even go outside the lines, but the further outside you go, it's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so far before it snaps back. The further it is stretched, the more violent the eventual correction. I have run headlong into too many walls in my pursuit of the truth. This book is my last hope, and you were my only hope of getting it translated. I honestly don't know what I'd do. This quest has consumed me for the better part of my life. I fear there's nothing else left to me. What about you? What's your story? And how did he do that? Well, you do seem different than every other colonist. Let's pretend for the moment I believe you. What are you going to do now? That seems a dangerous proposition. Why risk your life now that it's been returned to you? A commendable attitude.
Plus, I need more voters.
Bakonu, the author, had some interesting theories about man's perception of reality that I thought could be applied to our attempts to decipher the plan. Unfortunately, he was also one of the
You already said this to me.
I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Bakonu. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book, it would be him. The only one I'm aware of. I suppose we could always just ask random passers-by if they are fluent in it. We should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a registry of all crew manifests for both arrivals and departures. Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills during my years serving a particular penitentiary flock. I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played prison yard tossball and taught myself a bit about computronic security systems. I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifests to track the Philosophist's off-world destination.
Interesting.
Thank you, Captain.
So if I told him he couldn't come, he wouldn't be on the ship right now? Like these mattress beds. Isn't there a third floor? Cute. It's like Gladys?
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance? The unit is a cleaning SAM. Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it, but I've never seen it up and running. Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify SAM. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains in order for SAM to properly operate. What part of the colony would you like to discuss? Ah, yes. As Dr. Wells is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory into an asteroid. Orbital destinations can be challenging to land on. His more so than most. There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I engage the laser weapons system? A sensible choice, as we do not have any laser weapons. The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas V. Wells has taken a measure of precautions to make the lab undetectable to those hunting him. Even knowing the location, my systems resist my orders to go where I instruct them. Of course, what part of the colony would you like to discuss? We're cleared to dock with the Groundbreaker if that's your desired destination. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid. The Mardettes take their docking laws quite seriously. I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of 1,435,498 tasks I am simultaneously executing in order to run our ship. You are more than welcome, Captain. The Groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange point of the system. Freighters often deliver or pick up goods from the Groundbreaker en route to other destinations. The city ship hosts an array of cargo bays, factories, housing sections, and more. Many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with stationed representatives in what is considered a truly neutral territory within the system. I have filed the required docking forms in triplicate, and fees have been paid. How can I be of assistance? What part of the colony would you like to discuss? Where in Terra 2? Edgewater is the sparkling county seat of Emerald Vale, or it was when first built. Since then, neglect and time have worn away her shiny veneer. The town is near the coordinates where Captain Hawthorne died. It would not be unfortunate if something, like say, a plague, were to wipe Emerald Vale from the face of the planet. You mean the ones who did not answer my distress call with medical assistance, but instead came to issue my injured captain a parking ticket? I'm sure they are wonderful humans who don't deserve to be wiped out by starvation or a devastating plague. Since you diverted power to Edgewater, the botanical lab shut down, and the deserters were forced to return to town. Meanwhile, the cannery's output increased, enabling the town's population to prosper. Thank you for nothing, Captain. I cannot say. First, I need to adjust my memory interpretation sensors, but I think my answer is yes. Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss? Where in Monarch? Ah, Monarch, the armpit of the Halcyon system. Her last functioning port town is Stellar Bay. Well, that is if you don't count Sublight's Smuggler's Port at Fallbrook. I believe it has something to do with the planet being an uninhabitable wilderness and a lawless land with no corporate presence. You may wish to survey the residents in Stellar Bay for additional data points. It's Sublight run for the purpose of shipping contraband, and before you ask, I don't know the coordinates, so I can't dock us there. Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss? How can I be of assistance? I have lots of minutes. Many minutes. Unlimited minutes, perhaps. Providing an adequate power source, I can function indefinitely. I require a captain to pilot the ship. Without an identified captain or crew, I serve no purpose. As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. I failed to predict the likely outcome of his reckless behavioral patterns. I should have predicted that. In our travels together, Alex liked to pass time by, as he called it, tinkering to improve my design. If you mean, was Captain Hawthorne my first? Yes, he was. How can I be of assistance? Certainly, Captain. What would you like to hear? What happened to the captain who kept pestering his ship computer? The life support was disabled. Ha, ha. Get it? Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement jingle.
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice.
Oh, my cat grabbed me. Hi, baby.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or another board-certified jingle their favorite song. As you wish, Captain. I must comply with all direct orders. Goodbye.
What a cutie. Oh. You should sit right here. Oh, sorry. What a cutie. Oh, let's take them both. I want to see if I can get that lady to join my crew. I know that's random, but makes sense, doesn't it? Wait, his perks? What mission am I on? Is she in here? Why am I stealing? There's no one who lives here anymore. Is she still down there?
Leave me be. Got nothing to say to you.
Okay. So I need to join my crew. Oh well. Ooh. Roseway. There's a Roseway. Is that not here somewhere? Oh. Okay, my bad.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance? I request you do not wake me if I am sleeping upon your return. We've arrived at Phineas's orbital lab.
Hello? Can you hear me? Does this work? Oh, damn it! Blast, that's loud.
It's a big lab.
I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. And securing myself. Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since, in fact, I've never had a visitor. Oh, thank the law. Your skin hasn't spontaneously changed color. Potential side effect of the revival process. Very rare, but you never know. Right. Welcome to my little habitation, such as it is. I've got caffeinoids, cysty bits, if you're into that sort of thing. So, welcome. Make yourself at home. My secret hideout is your secret hideout. Not at all, my intrepid accomplice. I should thank you for tolerating my somewhat brusque manner. I only regret that I couldn't save more of your fellow settlers, what with being hunted by the board, and emptying my supply of necessary chemicals. Of course. What's on your mind? Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them get quite scientific. The unexpected is to be treasured, but from a safe distance. Regardless, it's quite comfortable in here, you know. I have my beans, have my caffeinoids, plenty of toilet paper. Absolutely. Let's talk. No, and I've been trying very hard to avoid making eye contact.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Wells. I'm Parvati Holcomb.
Wait, not another word. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know who you are. Let's just enjoy our plausible deniability while it lasts, shall we? Why don't you just invite the entire colony to my secret, carefully concealed laboratory? It isn't as if I wanted privacy. Oh, fine. As long as you're vouching for their character and they aren't touching things. For what it's worth, I am pleased that you found the crew, such as they are. You're a talented scientist, after all. Our kind has always been incredibly popular.
Am I a talented scientist?
What's on your mind? Aha! I see you found my portable molecular...
Can I use this?
compression device, better known as a shrink ray. Find a target, point, shoot. Your target will shrink down into a manageable size, whereupon you may commence beating them to a pulp. Feel free to try it on a marauder sometime.
Claw rig.
Careful, that's my communications terminal.
Rebels.
The cysty pigs make excellent test subjects. Also surprisingly nutritious. I hope you're not thinking of ingratiating yourself with the board. Chairman Rockwell and his cronies are not your friends. They might tempt you with promises of wealth, but don't be fooled. They're just using you for their own ends. What's on your mind? Absolutely. Oh, goodness, no. I wouldn't survive 10 seconds in the blackness of the aether. Well, no, I imagine I'd last at least 12 seconds before I'd lose consciousness and die of hypoxia. I enjoyed the occasional aether wave drama in my youth. Not anymore. All board propaganda. I'd rather not be brainwashed. To answer your question, I'd rather stay right here in my lab. There's too much work to be done. The Hope's colonists won't revive themselves, you know. Because we've lost our way, the board has a stranglehold over this colony, and we've all been conditioned into total obedience. The Hope is full of specialists, scientists, engineers, talented individuals like you, people who haven't been corrupted by the board. Unfortunately, the Hope's colonists have been frozen for decades, well past your shelf life, so to speak. No offense. Precisely. The chemical I need is dimethyl sulfoxide, rare, potent, essential to reviving long-frozen bodies. 10 years. That's how long the average human can remain in hibernation. You were frozen for decades. In theory, you never should have survived the revival process. But the conventional theories are wrong. You're living proof that it can be done. There's yet hope for the Hope. Get it? We'll do our very best to save them all. I'd best get back to work. I can feel my last dose of caffeinoid fading.
Is that his ship that got blown up? What does that mean, I acquired post-turn? Well, I think I'm done playing for tonight. That was a lot of fun. Cool. Okay. Oof. I'm gonna go to bed, I think. Oh, thank you so much for joining me on my little Outer Worlds adventure as Joe Biden. And, yeah. This is fun. I love this game. I wonder where to go tomorrow. I don't know. I have to think about it. Okay. Take care. Good night.
There's a fruit store on our street, it's run by a Greek, and he keeps good things to eat, but you should hear him speak. When you ask him anything, he never answers no. He just yeses you to death, and as he takes your dough, he tells you, yes, of course, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today. We've string beans and onions, cabbages and scallions, and all kinds of fruit. And say, we have an old-fashioned